This tutorial will take you through the New Hampshire State Council on the Arts Fiscal Year 2024 Youth Arts Project Grants category application at submittable.com. The tutorial assumes that you have created a free account at submittable.com and are logged into the system. The first part of the application is all about your organization. So we want your official IRS name, and if you are applying via a fiscal agent, you will click this box, and then you'll fill out section 2, and we'll get there in a second. We need your email address, your snail mail address, your daytime telephone, your website URL, the URL for your Creative Ground profile, the name and title and email address of your authorized official, and then you're going to choose an arts discipline code for the primary area of your organization's work. There are lots of codes here. This is very comprehensive, so if you have questions about it, please reach out to the administrator of this grant program. This is very important information. We have to report it to the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Assembly of State Arts Agencies. If you are an arts organization, you need to verify that you've had at least 1 year of arts programming. So you'll check that box. Next, you will enter your Unique Entity Identifier, your UEI. This is a relatively new requirement from the federal government, and you cannot apply without a UEI. If you don't have a UEI yet, you can visit sam.gov, the federal website, to begin that application process. You can also find some instructions and background at this link on our website. Nonprofit organizations, we need the year you were founded, the year that you were incorporated. We need to know that your Attorney General letter of good standing is available if we request it. Same thing with your certificate of good standing from the Secretary of State. We want to know the year you were granted an IRS exemption and whether your IRS determination letter is available if we request it. We want to know how many staff you have, full-time and part-time, the number of volunteers, and then for nonprofit organizations, we have a fiscal summary area. We want to know the dates of your current fiscal year, and then we want 3 years worth of income and expenses. So your past fiscal year, your present fiscal year, and a projection of future fiscal year. So if you are applying with a fiscal agent, you will fill out section 2. And this section has all the same questions that section 1 does. So we'll just scroll through that. And now we'll go to the grant request information. First thing, you're going to tell us how much you're asking for, whether this is a new or recurring project. And then in 25 words or less, you're going to summarize your project. Give us a project title or a summary that is very clearly stated, a phrase or a sentence. We want to know your project start and end dates, if there are public events associated with this project, what those dates are, the name of the project director, if it's different from the contact person that you listed in section 1. And then you're going to choose an arts discipline code again. This time, this is for the project. You're going to tell us how many towns and communities will benefit, and then you'll estimate the number of youth and adults that will be engaged in this project through live arts experiences. So if you have a streaming component or something, a component that will be offered as a recording, you don't count those people. Just the people who will be experiencing through live experiences. Next, we want some demographic information of the people who will benefit from your project. First by age, then by ethnicity, and then some distinct groups. We want to know how many artists are going to be involved in your project and how many of them are New Hampshire artists. Section 4 is all about accessibility and the facility or facilities that your project will be occurring in. And so first we want the name of the facility or facilities where your activities will occur. We want the name of your Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator. We want to know whether the facility is accessible to people with disabilities, if accessibility is part of your long-range plan, whether you've done an ADA self-evaluation, and then you will upload your brief National Endowment for the Arts accessibility checklist. And so there's a link to get that checklist in the guidelines, but it's also here. And so you'll fill that out, and then you will attach it to the application. And the way you do that is you click Choose File. A little window will open on your computer from which you will be able to navigate to where you have saved your files. You will choose the accessibility checklist and attach it to the application. There are some more questions here. We want to know if you have established policies and procedures that address non-discrimination against people with disabilities, and whether that information is publicly posted. We want to know whether you own the facility or facilities where your activities will occur. If no, we need the name of the owner, the address, and the length and expiration date of the lease. Section 5 is where you're going to upload all of the required documents for the application. So this works just like what I talked about earlier. You're going to click Choose File. Window will open on your computer. You'll navigate to where you've saved all of your files ahead of time, and you will choose the appropriate files for each of these areas. So the first one is your narrative. The narrative questions are generally at the end of the guidelines. You will upload your budget form, your timeline and work plan, a list of your current board or arts advisory committee. If you're a nonprofit, your board-approved financial statement. You'll upload a one-page resume or biography of the project director. You'll upload an artist acknowledgement, so this is important. So the artist acknowledges that they are going to participate in the project, and if there's more than one artist, you will upload more than one artist acknowledgement. You'll also upload letters of support. These should be current letters of support that directly relate to your project. You'll upload any evaluations, assessments, and rubrics that you'll be using to assess the success of your project and its impact. You'll upload the artist worksheet and resume and work samples here. We do prefer that you link to the work samples in the narrative to artists' websites, portfolio websites, or Creative Ground profiles, but you can upload work samples here. So let me say a couple of things about uploading these files. First and foremost, we really prefer all of the text-based documents to be in PDF format. That way, there's no way that we can inadvertently edit one of those documents. So if you are completing your budget in the Microsoft Excel form, there's a video on our website that tells you how to turn it into a PDF. And it's not as easy as you think. It's pretty simple, but it's not as easy as you think, so please watch that video. Also, too, in the areas where you are allowed to upload multiple files, we really suggest that you zip them up. And there is some information on our website on how to zip up files. So, you've attached everything. Now you're at the certification and assurances. So the first assurance is around COVID-19. The next is that you will credit us and the National Endowment for the Arts. Next are some contractor assurances. And then finally, your certification. And so you're going to type your name and your title here, and then you're going to click the Agree button. This is your electronic signature. So you've got everything done. Now you're going to click Submit Form. Hopefully, you've filled everything out correctly, and the system will accept your application, and you'll see a message on your screen. If the system does not accept your application, that means that you didn't probably fill out a required field. Any field with an asterisk next to it is required. There's also a Save Draft button at the bottom of the application. The submittable system is very stable, but we do recommend that you scroll down and save your application every 5 or 10 minutes as you're working on it. So that is our Youth Arts Projects grant application. Please let us know if you have questions, and we look forward to seeing your application.